Hey guys, it's Vince from CG Vinyl Studio. It's about 10 after 5, and that's in the morning, of course, and it is Saturday morning, and we are knocking out a large sheet of our glossy vinyl before we go to the gym. Got the P7000 fired up. You can see how much ink we have left, and I can tell you right now, just judging where they are right now, we have an estimate of about maybe 9 months of solid printing, probably closer to a full year before we'll have to replace them again. It's a question that comes up a lot, and realistically, unless you're doing a lot of heavy saturated prints, you do not need to replace cartridges, at least on this model that I've seen, usually within a year. And we're buying, I believe, what's the size are they? Are they 100 millimeter? Oh, they're 250? The cartridge size that we chose, I believe there's 3 sizes. We go with the 250 milliliter. We're laying ink down now. These are my rock crawler graphics. These are really popular. Again, decal sheets, guys, in high resolution. They still sell like crazy. I have a lot of skateboarding clients. I have a lot of guys doing custom work. And even if they're working with woods or stuff like substrates that typically would not be used with a vinyl, an easy way, I know one of my clients works with it, and what he's come up with is just saturating the board of whatever he's doing with epoxy over it. And I can tell you for a fact that works great. I'll show you one on camera that I did, the table with the, and I'll show you exactly what's possible when you use a clear epoxy. I've showed this before. It's a little dirty. We use it a lot. I love this table. I love this graphic. But again, when you bury it, you can basically do artwork on whatever you like. And that's something that, again, a lot of people don't think about. So just keep in mind, applying epoxy and doing the work on this probably takes about, I would say, 5 hours of actual work in terms of sanding and doing everything, the epoxy drying, getting a spot in your house, preferably indoor, of course, that's climate controlled, that all you do is apply it, and then once it's applied, you're letting it dry. But overall, these are crazy. They sell amazing, and it will last forever. So very easy to add full color graphics to virtually anything you want. Things to keep in mind, I see a lot of guys using laser cutters, especially with my other business. And that other business, just so everybody knows, I do build CNC controllers. So I see a lot of guys using laser cutters and whatnot, but you're never gonna get the clarity and color and vibrancy you get from an actual graphic applied to something. I mean, what you typically get is a black and white image, and it's a burn. So if you like that look, it's okay. But right now, I can tell you, the unfortunate side to that is you gotta have kind of unique products now, because the market is becoming more seen with that look. And I'm not saying it doesn't have its place, of course it does, and you can certainly make a lot of money with it. But I can tell you right now, a piece of furniture with this is going to sell in a different characteristic, usually a lot faster. People see this, it's very unique, it's something that doesn't exist. I've had clients use it to do sports graphics, have extremely good luck with that. You can personalize anything. I don't really have to go into too much detail, but when you see something like this, like I said, if it's at a, on eBay or on a store, you're going to find these usually move much faster than the typical hanging wall art that we see with burn marks. It's just what it is, So keep that in mind. We can also see here that that ink is getting laid down, and these are coming out beautiful. But I always want to keep you guys thinking. I always want you to come up with new ideas. The main thing with vinyl is that it's very easy to work with. You can come up with a million different ideas. There's a million different ways of using it. Another quick point about the epoxy application is I have guys doing model boats, and they'll go over with epoxy on their hull, all their graphics. So if they want a scale model or they want to do something that is extremely unique, you know, Chris Craft or whatever they're doing as far as classic boats, it works also amazing. So these are cool ideas that don't cost a lot and a way to get the artwork in true fashion on your applications, you know? And I mean, that's the whole idea, is most of your clients are going to want that personal touch. They're not going to get that at Sticker Mule. They're not going to get that on sites that you upload an image and you hope it comes out right. I mean, you don't know who you're talking to. You don't know who's doing the work. You don't know if they're using quality substrates in terms of, you know, what laminates they're using. You can't research them. You're hoping if they give you the actual product that they're actually giving it to you in the sense that it is real. You're able to research it. We've heard that numerous times. So they don't tell us, or, you know, they say they're using this, but they won't release any information on it. They won't show packaging or anything. So you ask the right questions, you get the right answers. Our substrates, there's no smoke and mirrors. These are our own. Inkjet printable, well over 1,000 feedback on eBay. And now we're at a point that it's more a question of what you're trying to do. We can definitely fit a substrate to what you're trying to do. It's a question of, you know, what printer you have, what's, you know, going to be your best investment with a printer if you do want to go that route. And I cannot tell you enough, spend the money on your printer and your cutter, the best investment you'll make. So guys, I'm going to let this finish. I have to go and work my other job real quick, and I'll have this done, and once it's out of the printer, we can go over lamination. Okay guys, we have the print out of the printer. Once again, a larger sheet. Once again, doing decal sets, you're going to find naturally the larger the decal set, the more money you'll make. These have all been remastered. I'm just going to rotate the glass so you can check them out. Colors, you can see the vibrancy on the yellows. Land Rover, we've got everything. Hemi off-road. And this really, really came out fantastic. Once again, I want to reiterate, we do not have our 3M8518 over laminate over this yet. So more or less, what you're looking at with a print that comes right out of the printer is more or less like base coat paint. Think about it that way. It's got a little more matte finish until we hit it with the laminate, and then you're going to see this really come to life. Still has a gloss finish, a little more haze to it due to the fact that we have the inkjet coating on this to make the ink stick. But, and again, I love the American flags. That's my own personal preference. I know many of you do as well, my patriots out there. But Pennzoil matching all the colors. These really came out awesome, K&N. So let's get this laminated and you guys can check it out. Okay guys, laminate is done. You can see on the bottom we've got our water spots. We're just wiping it off. About a 1/4 inch overhang on this. And you can see now with the laminate what you have. These came out fantastic. No dust, no particulate, no debris. Perfect. So once again now we're going to hit it on the Suma. The Suma is going to do these to where they are so close cut, for the majority of them they'll look painted on. And that's exactly what I want my end users to have when we're dealing with model type decals. These came out beautiful. Super flat. Matter of fact, I always point out, you don't even see any traction marks on from our laminator. This is completely smooth in this area. Laminator comes in, boom, makes contact, and then we go right back down. That's why putting the tape is mandatory. This sheet was really flat. You can still see that. Even from the water droplets are just sitting there, nothing moving. Perfect. Okay guys, we'll go over to the cutter, knock that portion out, and show you the finished product. M16 is all set up, guys, and we have Vinyl Master ready to go. Once again, got home from the gym, 9:30 in the morning, took care of health, working on wealth, and we're getting right to it. Joanna just plugged in the cutter. adjusting her cut head for registration. And once again, I've said this in many of my videos, but I want to reiterate it because we still get lots of questions about, you know, how much do you make, quantifying your time. This is literally about 20 minutes of actual labor on our part. The rest of it, once you have your file saved, is basically just loading the file, hitting the print button, of course, doing your lamination where most of your labor is, and then once the lamination is done, loading it in the cutter and letting the cutter do its work. We're just scanning our registration marks right now so the cutter knows exactly where to cut. And that's it, boys and girls. The Suma for this type of work is probably where you'd see that tangential head be most efficient, mainly because we have such fine work here. Larger graphics, no big deal with a bigger cutter, but when you're working with a tangential head, I cannot tell you, as a modeler myself, how much the guys appreciate fine cuts that this will perform. I'm guessing this whole sheet will probably take somewhere around 2 to 3 minutes to do, maybe longer. You can see when it gets to those simple cuts, it's very fast. So keep in mind, once again, and I'll reiterate this point, this sheet right now is $40. It took us 20 minutes to make $40 on this particular sheet. You may make another sheet, let's say this was HD Chrome. I've had clients request these on HD Chrome. There's no difference in your work because you're just switching the substrate you're using. And when you do that, you basically can charge what you want because the substrate is what's going to dictate the new value of your product. There's not a business model really like this in that, number one, if you only sold one of these sets and you have another on your shelf, so to speak, ready to ship, that work will carry over time and time again to whatever you plan on selling again. It's a really interesting model in that sense. It's what I like to call micro-investing. Make small investments to make a couple $100s. If you stay with that kind of mentality, stay away from those $1,000 investments, most people in America can recover very easily from a mistake investment at a couple $100. They're not going to recover too easy from a couple thousand. So scale as you will and use that to your advantage. And you can see we're getting there now. We're getting over on the other side. Another interesting topic that I want to discuss is I had a file request yesterday, and I forgot to discuss file requests where clients will ask, can you make this file for me for a graphic? And they don't even want you to produce the graphic, they just want the file. Of course, you can produce the file and then sell the file, on top of keeping one copy for yourself. It's, like I said, this is a really unique business model because 90% of it is digital. And that means that your workload drops at a much more dramatic pace. This sheet's about done. Going to the next. Meanwhile, Joanna and I can do whatever we want. We can walk away from the machine and let it just continue cutting. It'll stop by itself, and you're done. Leveraging robotics, guys, is the future. It will definitely make your life easier, whether you're using software to use AI, which I also use, or if you're using a combination of software with hardware to own production robotics, which not only do I manufacture, but to use myself. I can tell you right now, this is absolutely amazing. Now, mind you, I'm at about 8 minutes and 37 seconds right now. There's been no editing done to this video other than pausing it. I'll put in the transitions to make it look nice for YouTube. But overall, you're seeing the exact work minus the lamination, because it takes 2 people to do it correctly. When you're using a manual laminator, that is. But like I said, add the 20 minutes to it of you doing that, and that shows exactly what time you have invested here. Best of all, never left the house, never broke a sweat, and you're collecting money online, and you're done. Compare it to other business models, and look and see if you actually have tangible products to sell. Look and see if it's, going to encounter the hang-ups that go with traditional businesses, Coming up to Land Rover, Ford, those will fly right through that. Naturally, detailed cuts are going to take longer because that tangential head will go around to make sure those are perfect. There we go. Keep in mind, and I reiterate this point because it's important, this sheet's about, 22 inches long? It's almost 2 feet? 26, a little over 2 feet long. If this sheet, let's say, was 3.5 feet long, our workload never goes up, because the robot, once it's loaded, is just going to take longer to cut, but who cares? You're not doing anything. Leverage your time and buy your life back. There we go, gentlemen and ladies. She's going to unload it now. We'll do a quick clip, make it neat, and show you the weeding process. Okay, Joanna's already trimmed the sheet. She's already started weeding it, and we just shortened that down because it makes it easier for her to start when I'm holding the camera, so I'm not in her way. And you can see the level of detail this takes. She's just going through, taking her time. Once again, she's got those nice fingernails, which help a lot, just to relieve a little bit of pressure as she's pulling back the vinyl. You can see the finish there. And as, of course, the vinyl is peeling off the backing, there'll be less tension, and therefore this will lay completely flat. Now, we do have questions about, do you really have to weed a decal sheet because it's already pre-cut? Technically, you don't. I mean, unless you're adding transfer tape, which is what most competitors will do, in the sense that if they're using a graphic that's intricate, they'll add the transfer tape to apply it to a substrate. In our case, we do this because we like the presentation. It also makes their job a little easier. So again, think about what your clients are doing, think about the application, and take your time. Here we go. She just takes her time, very carefully peels it back. You can see the weeded edges on, the bled edges on all of the excess vinyl right there. You can see all those colors. That's where we overprint so that these actually look like they're painted on their model. There's no edge line. That's how you get the scale look. There she goes. And once again, you've got to only really pay close attention to when you're weeding intricate cuts. Circle cuts, square cuts, usually you don't have too much problem. It's when they have feathered edges, maybe tails like that 4x4 logo. Those are where you really want to pay attention. She has done this so long, she's a wizard when it comes to weeding. And there we go. Just about there. And there we go. And you guys can see our finished product. Once again, these are beautiful. Really nice, no dust, no debris, crystal clear, color palette remastered, ready to apply to our clients' models. So again, guys, I hope that these videos are at least giving you ideas. I cannot emphasize that enough. Go into that 9 to 5, feel like it's hopeless. You have a lot of potential if you're willing to act. Just test it. Like I said, micro investing. That's word of today is micro investing. Tiny investments. A couple $100 will literally change most people's lives. They don't even understand it until they have it. So you can see we did this whole process in front of you, and there's our end result. If you have any questions, once again, don't be afraid to message us. Our information is in the video description. Thank you for your support. Take care.